We'll start with the face first. Her face is very accurate to the movie. She has this gold eyeliner makeup both on the top and the bottom to kind of goes along with the jewelry along her costume. We have two hoop gold earrings. We know that in the 90s, hoop earrings were quite popular back then. She has this really long hair. Kind of signifies her Eastern quality too. Most Eastern Middle East women actually has really long hair, so it's really quite plausible. It's actually sort of curled in the bottom. You can kind of see right there to kind of match the illustration, and just Jasmine's hair design from the animated movie itself. Right here we have her collar necklace. These are actually not attached, so you can easily move them left to right. When I got her, the collar was actually kind of off center to the right, so I just kind of pulled it back to the center. She has these cuffs on her hands, and also the belt, and she has these various colored stones in there. This is a really beautiful metal piece actually. Usually Disney uses plastic for these so-called faux jewelry, but these are actually pretty real. Even on the limited edition dolls, I think they use plastic for those metal like jewelry. And of course this design actually kind of reminds you of the slave Jasmine, where she has those two handcuffs on the side, and of course the red shawl kind of ties her back. Well, this one is not exactly red, it's more like a magenta purplish color, so but it kind of ties it back to that other Jasmine dress design that she has in the movie. And of course in the center she has this aqua blue, sort of a greenish blue at the top there with the tiger prints, and of course this gorgeous embroidery of the peacock. Just kind of reinforces her as the sort of like the princess in a cage. That's sort of like what a peacock sometimes symbolizes, because a lot of peacocks, they're usually owned by kings and queens, but they're always kept in a gilded cage, and that's sort of what Jasmine is. She's a beautiful creature, but trapped, and I think that's what the peacock feather sort of signifies. I wouldn't open her, but in the back she has more of these tiger prints going all the way to the back of the dress. The peacock embroidery only stops at these two panels, so usually Disney tends to go all the way, but I think for this, they kind of know that people weren't gonna unbox her anyway, so they just kind of keep it to the two front panels for the embroidery. And on the inside, she has this pant suit right there. It's made of satin. And of course, she has these two high heels, sort of dark here. Let me move over a little bit to the light right there. She has these two high heels with a gem stone in the center, and I don't know if you can really see this, but she's actually wearing fishnet stockings. I mean, that's something that that's not necessary, but I think it kind of ties it all the colors together so that her skin tone doesn't really pop up from under there. Kind of makes it all dark and nice and smooth transition. But that's a really great attention to detail on Disney's part. I don't know how much of the stocking is there, but either way, it's very good that they took care of that. And of course on the side she has this handbag. This one kind of reminds me again of the Gucci motif, especially with the clasp right there. I've seen it a couple of times, and also the tiger head is also sometimes used for designer handbags. It's made of just fabric, but there's the Velcro on it, so you can open that up if you want to. what I'm also impressed at is the way they really match up the doll's pose to the illustration. I know from Steve Thompson's Instagram, he mentions that the doll was actually created first, then the illustration come after. So how they faithfully recreate the illustration pose that Steve Thompson has created is really amazing, down to her grasping hand right there, holding the handbag, and of course the hand on the hip pose right there. Yeah, it's really one of the most beautiful pieces of the series. I think even I mean, it's very close to dethroning Snow White. I mean, in my rank, it's either her or Snow White, and of course third Cinderella. I mean, the rest of the three, they just couldn't really match up to the glamour and just the amount of quality that the first three has. You know, like Ariel, she's a bit her dress is a bit too small. I mean, it's very detailed. When I first saw it in person, it's actually a lot more detailed than I expected. But still, it just couldn't compare with the even the volume of Cinderella and Jasmine. Belle just feels a bit, well, I don't know. Her skirt is not as well placed, I suppose. They just feel like they're just placed in there, like there's no I guess the right word, there's no real feel of weight to her skirt. It doesn't feel plausible to be real. While with Jasmine here, you can really feel the weight of the flow of the shawl there, even the dress, I guess because it's so huge, and it just kind of fills up the whole entire box. It just feels realistic if you see this in real person. With Belle, I feel like her skirt doesn't really drape the way it's supposed to in the illustration. In the illustration, it feels really heavy and just kind of drapes along with her. In the doll form, of course, the fabric just ends up way too light and just kind of floats along her, which is not the effect that you want from the doll. And of course, Tiana with her, I mean, Tiana's main feature really is the hair. I mean, the hair really sells her, but other than that, her skirt is not enough to, you know, compensate a $110 worth to buy her. You know, we have, I mean, Jasmine here is the exact same price, but we get a lot more from her. So, you know, it's just the a minor critique of Tiana's design. Really, it's, if her dress would have been bigger and just more filling of like Jasmine, I mean, she would have been an absolute standout. But yeah, it is what it is. Well, I can't wait for the other 6 princesses. We still have Moana, Aurora, Mulan, Pocahontas, Rapunzel, Merida for next year. So yeah, let's hope that the designs on those are just as good as these. Yeah, so thanks guys for listening to my review and a little bit of my Disney insight here. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment, and I'll see you next time. Bye.